the last of the titles checked out from yesterday. Day's still a bit young yet. Oh, we'll have to make sure. So it's going to be a little bit of a pain to copy over. Hi there. How you doing? Glad to hear it. Nice outside? Yeah, a little bit Midwest spring. Yeah. Can I help you find anything? Latin. Okay. Anything in particular? Okay. I know we have that one. And our system is actually down today. Doing everything by hand. But I think, let's see. So I've got my hard copy of our Dewey Decimal System. And it looks like Latin is going to be in section 470. More specifically, you might find it in 471 or 473. And actually, if you'd like, I have a few recommendations if you want to go along the Latin route. That might be helpful. Okay, so we have one of my particular favorites is Lingua Latina per se illustrata. The first volume is Familia Romana, and it is all written in Latin, but it uses a bit of context clues and little pictures so that you can basically figure it out for yourself. It's quite interesting. And another one that's quite like that is from the Cambridge Latin course. That one's pretty interesting too. And since English has so many words that are derived from Latin, it's a lot easier than you think to at least grasp a basic understanding. And another one you might think about, this is kind of an old resource, but Wheelocks Latin might also be helpful as well. So, all right, section 470, 471, 473. All right? Okay, let me know if you have any more questions. Let's see, what else do we have to do today? Okay, we have the events. No requests yet, so I'll just have to keep an eye on that one. And then, right. Hi, how can I help? Ooh, okay. Anatomy. Let's take a look. So, any particular volume you're after? Okay, the classic Grey's Anatomy, Henry Grey. It's an interesting story about that one if you've never heard his story. So that is going to be, let's see, under science, biology, and then physiology. So that is going to be 570, 571. All right. Let me know if you need any help. System's down today, so we're kind of just working in generalizations today. All right? Okay. And then what are the events today? So I know we have a Lego League today, and that's at 4:30. It's right after school. Okay, and then looks like we have one of our craft groups. What are they doing today? Oh, alcohol, ink, and ceramic tiles. What time is that? 5:45. Okay, I wonder if they have all the supplies. Do they have enough ceramic tiles? So I'll have to check in on that one. Okay, and the Thrillers and Chillers book group. they meeting? 6:45. Alright, and they've got everything they need. They provide their own snacks. That's good. Okay. Did you find what you were looking for? Okay, if you wouldn't mind just giving that one to me. Okay. Alright, Introduction to Latin, 2nd edition. And did you find any of those other books? No. Huh. Alright. Well, if you were interested in them, I can check our sister library for you. That would be helpful. Yeah? Okay. Were there any in particular you were interested in? Okay. Let's go ahead and check this one out. So we have Introduction to Latin. Second edition. That's by Susan C. Shelmerdine. Alrighty, and do you have your card on you? Okay. If I could just see that. Yep, just need the number. Okay. And we have 008621115. Okay. And what was your name? Wonderful. And is there a particular way that I can get a hold of you, email or phone, if we need to contact you about a return? Okay, let's see. Here we go. Wonderful. So let me go ahead, get my request paper out. So we are looking for Lingua Latina per se illustrata Familia Romana. Okay, and we're looking for the Cambridge. Okay, so I will just put that under your name and then we can give you a call as well. Let's see. 8217. There we go. And if we don't happen to have those at our sister library, you actually can find these also on the Internet Archive, which is basically like this giant internet library. It is a little difficult to navigate, but these should come up pretty easy because they're fairly unique terms. If you just typed in Latin, you're going to get thousands and thousands of results all over periods of time and whatnot. But you can borrow these from there. They are scanned into the library, so it's a little difficult to navigate, but if you need it in a pinch, if we don't have it, that's something to consider. Okay? Excellent. So I will give them a call and I will let you know if they have those in. We can either transfer them here or you can pick them up there. All right? Excellent. So go ahead and give this one back to you. I hope you enjoy Latin. It's quite a fun language. Alright, so let's go ahead and just put that in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that ready. patron finds what they're looking for, then I can go ahead and call about those couple of requests. Just gonna be one of those days, a lot of calls back and forth. Did you end up finding what you were looking for? Excellent. And I presume it was in the right section. Okay, good. I'm glad that even when the computers go down, we can still find things just fine. So, Gray's Anatomy, Classic Illustrated Edition by Henry Gray. I like this particular one because it looks very similar to some of those original volumes. I think this is 13th, 14th edition, 15th edition. There we go. Fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons. Henry Gray's story is a bit tragic, and I believe he died at the age of 34. Makes you wonder what he might have accomplished had he lived longer, but despite that, he really made something special in that short amount of time. I mean, this is considered one of the most important medical texts in the history of medicine, and it's really not that old either. So let's go ahead and get you all checked out. We have Gray's Anatomy, Henry Gray. Okay. Mind if I see your card? Okay, I just need the number. Let's see, 0072856. Okay, and a name? Oh, interesting. And can I have a phone number or an email address so we can reach you in case of an issue with the return or if it's overdue? Okay. Wonderful. So these particular big books only check out for 1 week. So I'll put that on there. 1 week checkout. I like to keep these in as nice of shape as possible. So that one's for you. And all good to go. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you get a lot out of that book, and we see you again soon. Right, so let's go ahead. Let's get our request sheet. Hi there, this is Calliope from the west side of town. How you doing? Yeah, I'm not too bad. I hear the weather isn't too bad either. I mean, considering it's spring, huh? Yeah, not too bad. So I have a couple of requests. I was wondering if y'all had those in at all. Ours seem to be checked out. Okay, so I've got Lingua Latina per se illustrata, and that's the first volume, Familia Romana. And then I have the Cambridge Latin course. I imagine even if you just have the first book, that would be helpful. Okay. Yeah, you can get back to me whenever. I know your system is down too. Yeah, I think it'll be a couple more days. Luckily, it hasn't been too busy, so we've been able to keep things straight, but it's been a while since we've had to do this by hand, huh? Yeah. Yeah, if you could just let me know, our patron that wants these books wants them transferred to our library. Well, you know, some people don't like to truck across town. Okay, just let me know if you've got those in, and if you don't, that's just fine. Just let me know at your earliest convenience. Okay, thanks so much. Bye. Alright, so that's all taken care of. Okay, and then I've got a couple of books here that need to be put back, but probably wait until they fill the cart. Hi there. Can I help you find something? Poetry. Okay. Any particular ones you're looking for? Emily Dickinson and Robert Frost. Ah, very nice. Some of the romantics. So, let's see. Vaguely remember, so that's in the literature and English. So English literature is going to be 810, but poetry is going to be in 811. So you should be able to find quite a few volumes of both Frost and Dickinson in 811. All right? Okay. Did you find which ones you were after then? Okay. Let's take a peek. Favorite poems of Emily Dickinson. I enjoyed this particular volume because I liked the font they use and the little flourishes. Makes it feel more original. Nice. And then Robert Frost, the Library of Classic Poets edition. Early poems. Mending Wall, Pasture, North of Boston section. What is this one divided up into? Early poems, a Boyd's Will, north of Boston, mountain interval. There's a little history in here. Very nice. Okay, so let's see. We have favorite poems of Emily Dickinson, and we also have Robert Frost selected poems. Okay, and you've already got your library card. There we go. Number 006521113. Okay, and your name? Okay, and an email or a phone number that we can reach you by? Excellent. So we will see you back within 2 weeks for these two. I hope you enjoy them. Thanks for stopping by. Probably get to my own book a bit. It was the White Rabbit, trotting slowly back again, and looking anxiously about as it went, as if it had lost something, and she heard it muttering to itself, "The Duchess, the Duchess. Oh, my dear paws, oh, my fur and whiskers, she'll have me executed, as sure as ferrets are ferrets. Where can I have dropped them, I wonder?" Alice guessed in a moment that it was looking for the fan and pair of white kid gloves. She very good-naturedly began hunting about for them, but they were nowhere to be seen. Everything seemed to have changed since her swim in the pool, and the great hall, with the glass table and the little door, had vanished completely. Very soon the rabbit noticed Alice. She went hunting about, and called out to her in an angry tone, "Why, Marianne, what are you doing out here? Run home this moment, and fetch me a pair of gloves and a fan. Quick now." And Alice was so frightened that she ran off at once in the direction it pointed to, without trying to explain the mistake it had made. Hi. What can I do for you? Interesting. Okay. Well, I haven't had to do too many recommendations lately in the superhero genre, but I think a good classic, especially in the sort of Marvel era, is Watchmen. Have you seen the movie? Or the little miniseries after? Okay, so those are similar. The movie is an interesting adaptation because a lot of it is pretty close, but there are some pretty interesting and major changes that have a much different sort of message than what the author intended. So the miniseries is, I believe, connected, but it's not the same story. And especially in this day and age with the superhero movies, I actually had quite enjoyed the angle from, I don't know if you've seen Daredevil, the one on Netflix, and then they just kind of soft rebooted it, where a lot of the canon is still intact from that original show. But that sort of plays around with the idea as well that Watchmen did, and I think this was written in the 80s, of who watches the Watchmen. You have these vigilantes that are picking up the slack, ideally, from the law enforcement in their city. But who is there to police those that are picking the slack from the policemen. You know, it's a very, I suppose one needs a lot of nuance in that conversation, and it's a very complex conversation. So that was a really cool story about that, and I haven't quite seen anything since then that dives into that concept of who watches the Watchmen. So that's a pretty good contender. If I'm gonna recommend something superhero-y, that's gonna be it. And it's more, there's only one person that actually has any powers in that, but everybody else is human, so it's kind of like, you know, like the Batman sort of thing, where it's just regular people who didn't take up the cowl, but took up the cape. So I would recommend that one. All right. The author it should be under is Moore Allen, so it'll start with the M there. You'll find it in the M section. Okay? All right. You go take a look at that and see if that's something that piques your interest. Hello. You didn't need any help at all, did you? Knew what you were looking for? Okay, let's go ahead and see it. Oh, alrighty. Got a few here. Are we interested in ancient Egypt? We've got discovering Egyptian hieroglyphs and misunderstanding hieroglyphs, and the Egyptian Book of the Dead translated by E.A. Wallace Budge. When did he do that? That was in the 1900s, wasn't it? Early 1900s. Let's see. Book of Coming Forth by Day. Yes, the translation of the Ani presented in the following pages is by E.A. Wallace Budge, keeper of the Department of Egyptian and Assyrian Antiquities from 1894 to 1924. Translation has been around for a while. Let's see. A lot of these books on hieroglyphs really get into monoliteral signs, but let's see. Oh, we've got a little map here. Interesting. Vitus, Denis, Vastus, Sais, Tanis, Buto, the dynasties, and they consider a lot of people end at the 30th dynasty, but this one has a 31st dynasty for the late period, and then considers the Ptolemaic rule a 32nd. Interesting. Priesthood. Okay, so this one isn't super... Oh, no, they've got a little guide in here. Interesting. I'll have to check that one out. And practical guide. Let's see. Writing system. Okay, this one's a lot more written like a language book. Determinatives, ideograms, phonetic complement. They have, okay, they have the biliterals, monoliterals. Interesting. I think that'll be quite a help for you. Alright, so let's go ahead and get these down. Let's see, discovering Egyptian hieroglyphs. That is a practical guide. By Carl Theodore. Okay. And then we have Understanding Hieroglyphs. That is by Hilary Wilson. Okay. And the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That is E.A. Wallace Budge. Very cool. Oh, check out by Can I See? There we go. Very nice. 0085732. Okay, and a name. Okay, and a phone number or an email address. Okay. There we go. All right. So we will see you in 2 weeks or less. I hope you enjoy these particular volumes. All right. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, quite a bit today. A little busier than yesterday. I've got some interesting volumes. Let's see. Oh, that's different. Okay. Chaucer. New Cambridge edition. Oh. What is this? Clerk there was of Oxenford also that unto logic had long ago, as lean was his horse as is a rake, and not right fat I undertake, but looked whole, and thereto soberly, full threadbare was his overest courtepy, for he had gotten him yet no benefice, ne was so worldly for to have office for him was. Oh. Okay. I know what this is. Do they have... Yes, they do. Glossary. For weeped, exhausted with weeping. Foot, see foot. F-O-U-R-E for freckness, freckles. Okay. Well, I suppose we have works of Geoffrey Chaucer in the original Middle English. Well, we will put that one back. It's interesting. So we are getting quite a bit of book returns here. To put those away here soon. And then, hi, did you find Watchmen? You did, and did it seem interesting? Yeah. The symbolism in this book is top-notch. I mean, everything has a meaning, and sometimes, there's the joke of the curtains were just blue, as opposed to, everything has a meaning. But this particular book, absolutely everything was chosen with a specific meaning in mind. Watchmen, Alan Moore, writer, Dave Gibbons, illustrator, letterer, and John Higgins, colorist. When did this come out? 1986, 1987 for the cover. Original color, 1986. Interesting. They even have... Oh, okay. Lyrics from Desolation Row by Bob Dylan. 1965, Warner Brothers, used by permission. Lyrics from The Comedians by Elvis Costello from 1984. Hear My Thrill by Sidney Clare. Lines from Halloween by Eleanor Farjean. Lyrics from All Along the Watchtower by Bob Dylan. I've never heard the version by Bob Dylan. It's always just Hendrix. I've ever heard that. 1968. Sanity is by John Cale. John Cale. He's from Velvet Underground, isn't he? Pretty sure he worked with Velvet Underground. Special thanks to Neil Gaiman, Mike Lake, Pat Mills, and Joe Orlando, rather. Yeah, this is my particular favorite book. I think this came at a time when the superhero culture really started to rev up, and I always kind of had this sort of strange idea, well, I guess not strange because it was explored in here, that, with all these superheroes, like, we just kind of trust them to have best interests in mind, but they are also flawed, and even the best things they do, they still can cause a lot of harm, a lot of chaos, and is it truly the right thing to have vigilantes? It's really somewhat of an unanswerable question. It just depends on who you talk to in the situation, but this was the first book that I had ever seen that kind of explored that. So, I think you'll enjoy this one. Oh, let's see, Watchmen. Alan Moore. Alright, and if I could see your library card. Okay, number 00612. And a name? Okay, and an email or a phone number that we can reach you by. we go. Excellent. Well, I hope you enjoy the book. I ended up, I think, pretty much devouring it in one sitting, so it's kind of a quick read if you can really get into it. Thanks for coming in. I think we've had enough books come in that we should probably put those away. So I'm going to have to call in somebody else and see if they can man the desk. Alright. Hey, would you mind coming down and manning the desk? I've got quite a bit of returns piling up that I need to get through. I need to cross-reference them with the checkout sheet. It's going to take a minute. Okay, thank you. I guess we better go ahead and get those